In the red, we have Hearttt. Hearttt is playing as the Chinese top tier 1v1 Arabia Civ, a Civ that you'll see a lot picked on land maps. And Rubenstock, he's picked the Incas. And Lidacor, what can you tell us about the Incas? What potential mind-breaking strategy do they have on the cards?
I think the best person to ask about this one would be Project Belgium for Hidden Cup free qualifiers. That's definitely a recommendation for those of you that have not seen that game. Rubenstock versus Project Belgium and Hidden Cup free qualifiers was something special.
I think that was on Cup, and Rubenstock went YOLO with Inca Villagers. Inca Villagers affected by blacksmith upgrades. And there's actually a player who made it into the qualifier simply because he was playing so many games with this strat, and he got his elo so high that he was able to qualify. Of course, when he couldn't play Incas every game, he got 3-0'd in round 1, but his name is Salicum from the Netherlands. So there's enough people out there who know that this strat can work and possibly give you wins when you're the weaker player. I like the thought process from Rubenstock, assuming he's going to go YOLO here, because Hearttt is just too damn good otherwise.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Rubenstock. He also has Persians available, so we will see what he does with that. I have some ideas for that for Rubenstock as well.
Yeah, I think that the thing about Rubenstock is that he does have the ability to play standard. It's just that trying to play standard against someone who's at seed 6 is somewhat questionable. And I feel bad for players like Rubenstock in some ways, because I think people only see them as memers, when in reality he's good at everything as well. So he just chooses to go for some of the crazy YOLO strats because he just has a mind for that. That's not saying that if he gets a 2-0 lead or a 2-1 lead and needs to go for a standard strategy, he can't do it here.
Yeah, in fact, I can also imagine Rubenstock just trying to place standard in this game, because I think it would be a bigger surprise to see Rubenstock playing standard with Incas here than it is to see him playing with the Villager Rush.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a fine balance of how much you want to mind game, because at the end of the day, if Chinese aren't pressured early, they are very strong here. I would say their weaknesses can be up against civs like Mayans, Aztecs, and Incas due to the Eagle Warriors, but Chinese starting with additional villagers, having the cheaper techs, normally leads to some walls, and so they wall to protect themselves. One of the best strategies against walls is vill rushing and going forward and towering. So we haven't seen anything from Rubenstock which really indicates he's going to do that yet, Lita. Inca's perhaps a civ that people think are going to vill rush every time, but you don't have to do that. They also are a great civ otherwise.
He only has 3 on wood, which for me is a bit of a clue that could be a Veer Rush, although you also save a bit of a wood on the houses, so you might get away with 3 on wood at the beginning still. But I would still think that if you play standard, you play 4 on wood with Incas as well.
Yeah, it depends, I suppose, as we always say. I think Rubenstock has probably taken into account that he only needs to build 2 houses as opposed to 4, because they have extra pop space, like you'd mentioned. But he's scouted Hearttt. He's found where Heartt's at. And if you look at Heartt scouting, Heartt has not found Rubenstock yet, but it's very common for Chinese to stay at home and try and push in deer. That said, he's just leaving the deer now. So maybe he feels like, oh shoot, I've got to scout him.
So what I'm noticing is that Heartt's minute rolls are mostly located on the left side of the map. So technically, this is definitely towerable by Rubenstock.
Yeah.
And his... here it comes. Here it comes.
Wait, what comes? Sorry, you cut out there for a second. I didn't hear like 3 seconds of what you said.
Yeah. I just said, here it comes. It's a 20 pop feudal from Rubenstock.
All right, wonderful. So 20 pop feudal, a few villagers on stragglers. Yeah, this normally is because he's not planning on having too many on wood long term. So he's going to collect some wood for now. The number I tend to see go forward with these builds is, okay, yes, 3 go to stone, is 8. 7 or 8. Now, I was someone who experimented with this build order quite a bit back when Noboru started it way back in the day. I have a few videos on that. But you research wheelbarrow right away so your villagers move faster. You then build a blacksmith so you can get armor and attack. Now, since he hasn't pushed in a lot of his deer, I don't think he can get the armor and attack and wheelbarrow. But it is going to be the Inca Tower Rush, and we have 8 villagers moving forward.
The funny thing here is that, first of all, Hearttt is going to be playing archers, and his gold mine is like dangerously exposed
Yeah.
to that tower rush. And Rubenstock knows about that. He's just chilling there with the eagle.
It's a fascinating one here because I think Hearttt has quite a bit of experience playing up against this strategy from that Salacom player I mentioned earlier. So Salacom may be training people for this moment as you see 7 vills going towards the berries. They'll probably make the blacksmith. There it is. And then 1 villager heading over to where the eagle was, maybe for a sneaky tower on the golds. I think archers is the play, though. Expecting this and going into archer range is so much better than trying to go for scouts. Because eventually, if you get enough archers, you can snipe those villagers.
Yeah, I think there is a reason to go for scouts, and that is mainly counterattack potential. But if you just want to defend directly, that is not really going to be viable.
Yep. Plus, the big thing is you almost always lose your berries. And Chinese struggle because they start with 0 food if they don't push any deer. So there's no deer pushed in for Hearttt. Hearttt clearly knew it was coming. He's going for the range at least. And I like how he's getting Town Watch. I think this might actually be because he got pop capped. But he's looking now and he can see that villager building the tower on the gold. So Hearttt with good awareness on the left side should still be able to mine gold.
Yeah, indeed. Now, one thing to point out is that Ruben made a house close to that stone mine, so he sees if his opponent is moving towards that stone. And indeed, that would mean that there is no stone mine for Rubenstock or for Hearttt.
Yeah.
And one of the easiest ways to stop a tower rush like that is to make counter towers, because Inca villagers aren't amazing when it comes to tower versus tower wars.
I can hear Nikov. I don't know if Nikov's watching this at all right now, but I can just hear Nikov. Like, what is this dumb strategy? I could sense it, man. This strategy is ridiculous. Villagers being able to run forward like this combining the blacksmith upgrades with the fact that the towers are cheap is so strong. But I like how patient Hearttt was. And he's going to place his own tower. This is a good time to do that. And he could honestly just send some vills, send some archers into that tower. Rubenstock, fortunately, not advancing into too many areas as he goes to the right side, too. Hearttt notices this. This is so messy to play against.
Yeah, I would just like to remind everybody that these players are trying to qualify for a $60,000 prize pool tournament, by the way.
Yeah, and also, this is probably one of the best strats to tilt somebody. Like, I think Heartt's mentality is going to be pretty strong here, knowing that if he's going to have the confidence that he's the better player. But these strategies can really get under your skin, and that can stay with you going into future games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Rubenstock, who had 6 seconds of TC idle time in this game entirely. That's amazing for a very, very low eco build that he's doing right now.
And look at him rushing down Heartt's tower. Hearttt doesn't have archers here, and Hearttt is going to run out of stone, actually. So he won't be able to repair that, for very long. The archers arrive. The archers don't have fletching yet. The tower... Well, it can't be repaired any longer, so I suppose Rubenstock can just hop in, and now it'll get shot down. This is kind of working for Rubenstock right now.
Yeah, it's working really, really well. He's getting a tower up as well, and one of the underrated things that tower rushes can do is food eco denial.
Yeah. The berry's already taken away. If this tower goes up now for Rubenstock, he can place another one soon. And it's so difficult to take out these villagers with archers, but especially without fletching. Hearttt does not have the fletching upgrade. And his archers, again, unable to stop this push. As Rubenstock takes the score lead. And you mentioned it, Lita. Hearttt cannot take any stone. How does he stop this?
He does not. He has nothing. Like, now he's trying to launch a counterattack, but I think we're soon getting to the stage where Ruben is going to be just taking his berries.
Well, the awkward thing is, archer counter will have fletching. It's a good move from Hearttt, because I think he can get ahead. And also, using some archers, using some villagers. It's messy. It's not fun at all. It's tilting. But he's making it awkward for Rubenstock. So much to look at right now. Fortunately, villagers, Inca or not, they have very good bonus against towers. And as soon as that tower goes up, Rubenstock's tower goes down. Archers now arriving. And wait, does Hearttt even know where Rubenstock's base is?
Now he knows.
Wow. All right.
So, in the meanwhile, Ruben is actually sneaking up a tower on one of the wood lines from Hearttt. So, Hearttt is going to have some issues controlling wood here.
Yeah, seriously. And I think in this case, Hearttt is going to be in trouble. I guess fletching isn't in yet for Rubenstock, but Thinking Rubenstock could garrison into both towers here. This is peak Age of Empires, ladies and gents. You might not like it, but this is peak AoE2. Repairs and towers. And out of stone. Rubenstock's out of stone because he had to make a tower at home and the archers were arriving.
Yeah, but now those archers are really low in HP, and usually the follow-up for a tower rush like this would be potentially just an eagle play, although Ruben can't really afford it, and now he seems like he's running out of juice a little bit.
I think Rubenstock was in such a good position as he leaves his wood line, except for those 2 towers. The last 2 towers he's made next to Heartt's TC have been battered down. He needed to either have fletching so that those towers made sense, or he needed to make sure those towers were closer to his initial towers. Big mistake when tower rushing is not having your towers within range of each other, and he's probably breathing a sigh of relief as he takes the villager lead. And more villagers coming forward for Rubenstock.
Yeah, like, you can point to a certain wood line on the map that is actually safe for Rubenstock, which is right next to the primary gold of Heartt.
Yeah. What in the world? Okay. I mean, this is the way to do it, though. You save your weak ones, and you actually send the weak ones home to the farms, and then all the fresh villagers go forward. And look, yeah, there's a lumber camp for Rubenstock. It's all the weak ones. Now we have reinforcements. Now imagine being in Heartt's position. You're like, okay, this is tilting, but I've done it. I've survived. And then it's just like, raw! All the villagers running into your base. You can't do a damn thing about it. Oh my god.
I don't want to imagine being in Heartt's place. I want to imagine being in Ruben's place.
Yeah. But Rubenstock he's so annoying because he gets so much joy out of making it messy for others. And so, like, Heartt was debating on rushing that this time, but he realizes, well, shoot, I can't rush it this time. And the towers are just going to continue. And look at Heartt. He has to delete the farms, abandon that area. The woodline and the gold is over here. I mean, how does he stop this from getting worse?
Yeah, that's the real problem. And the thing is that in the meanwhile, Rubenstock is walling in that range. And if that is not going to get archers out, there is nothing that Heartt can do to stop this.
And Heartt just lost 3 archers to the tower. And the next tower is going up. Is Rubenstock going to take game 1 with this strategy? Oh my god. I mean, again, the mindset of Heartt. You're seed 6 against seed 38. And then also Rubenstock has Persians available if he wants to go for a TC drop or something crazier in the future sets. Rubenstock might actually get the upset win, at least in game number 1 here, as he's just completely surrounding Heartt with towers.
Yeah, the only thing I don't necessarily like is some of these towers aren't walled in. So, for example, Heartt could actually better down the tower now that he's on his primary gold.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to turn into a base trade. He just wants to go for Rubenstock's base now.
Well, that's good, because Rubenstock likes to build town centers at enemy bases. So, if Heartt wants to just leave for him, Rubenstock will happily occupy the enemy territory. You don't need to ask him twice. 38 villagers versus 41 right now. 3 military versus 0. But towers are military for Rubenstock as he's stonewalling in that stone. And Heartt is in the middle of the freaking map with the lumber camp right now.
Beautiful. Now that, however, Heartt is off from food, even if Rubenstock doesn't actually have the food eco to keep making villagers, or potentially losing villagers to the archers, Heartt isn't going to have a villager lead because he just can't make vills himself either.
Yeah, I think that time is coming. He does have access to gold, though, and that neutral gold in the right corner, which he was able to scout, might save him. That's not something that Rubenstock scouted, and there's only ever 2 on the map. So I don't think Rubenstock has any real reason to go to the corners. And it's a good move from Heartt to try and run away, but here comes Rubenstock with fresh villagers to fight the villagers from Heartt in the middle.
Oh, he's laming the woodland on the right side at the same time, trying to trap those villagers.
Oh my god. He misclicked it, actually. He's chopping the trees for them. This is so ridiculously messy, and this is why people love Rubenstock. Oh, Heartt must be so frustrated right now, man. How do you keep your cool? I would not be able to.
Yeah, it must be really tilting.
My capture rate just crashed? Oh, no, it didn't. Yeah, Heartt has a villager underneath Rubenstock's TC. More villagers from Rubenstock coming to the middle, where there's only 2 archers there. The woodline was walled in. I mean, Heartt is actually doing a good job. He's getting food eco again. He's still making archers. He still has additional villagers. So, it's not easy to fight with vills. One thing we maybe haven't brought up is even though Rubenstock has the upgrades on villagers, Heartt is the faster player. So I think Heartt probably has the better micro. He's getting some really good kills.
Yeah, he does, and he still has 6 on food, which is like just enough
Yeah.
to get that TC working. But also, Rubenstock is getting his eco up, and if he gets a couple of egos on the field, things could start turning around.
I agree with you. However, I look back at his base, and now I disagree with you. There's not much focus on his eco at home. He's just trying to win this game with controlling all the wood lines, the towers, and more villagers going down for Rubenstock. Then again, his TC has not been very idle in this game. That tower he's building will go up. Hearttt has to abandon another lumber camp. He just made a mill here, Lidakor. I mean, normally bringing in a co-caster provides us some structure, but I feel like this is making our job more difficult right now. What do we even talk about?
That's a nice mill. You can fit basically the appropriate amount of farms around it. It's a little bit blocked by the food line.
I think the best counter to Rubenstock is to just pick Japanese. That way you can build cheap mills and lumber camps all over the place, because Hearttt has had to make so many. And yet Heartt's still in the lead in this game, I'd say. Somehow, Rubenstock just can't be everywhere at once with villagers.
Yeah, I would love to see, like, if you're Hearttt right now, you think about, hey, what if I have Berbers so I can just run away from Rubenstock faster?
Oh, man. He's got the gold, Hearttt. He's definitely got the gold, despite all 3 of his starting golds being out of reach. That neutral gold's helping, and Rubenstock won't really know that. There's not a number of archers that really tells Rubenstock that the enemy does have that many archers. And look at Rubenstock's, or sorry, that he does have access to that gold. Rubenstock has 1 hour and 20 minutes of villager idle time.
Yeah, Hearttt also has quite a lot. I think the biggest problem with this strategy right now is that it's impossible to find all the bases of Hearttt. Like, back then I actually tried playing with just Persian TC drops for 3.5 hours. And one thing I struggled with was always finding the base of the opponent where it relocates.
Yeah.
I lost all games.
That's why the legend of You Got Douched always walls people in. I don't know if you've been up to date on the legends, but there's a 1400 player who only TC drops people, and he has 2 villagers wall in the enemy as he's TC dropping, and they can never run away. It's actually brilliant. And I spoke to Rubenstock about it, and he was like, that's honestly amazing. So maybe we'll see Rubenstock copy that strategy as he makes another tower in the future games.
Now, Rubenstock is getting a market up, so he may think about buying himself up, and Hearttt could also think about the same thing, but he doesn't have a market, apparently.
Yeah, he really needs to do that. I've been impressed with Heartt's cool mind, I guess. Of course, he might be screaming at the top of his lungs right now, but he's been able to get so many farms. He's fighting with vills when it's appropriate. I've seen Rubenstock try and steal people's farms in these situations and then delete them. Is that what just happened? Is he? Yeah, he's trying to steal farms. He clicked the enemy farm, stole it, and deleted it. It's a farm thief.
Yeah, that is actually possible. We have seen that a couple of times. I think in the previous round as well. That's a big commitment from Rubenstock now, and here comes the eco balance.
Oh my god, Hearttt needs to make a market and go up to Castle Age, because this is only going to get worse. I feel like he could click up to Castle Age shortly with this amount of food.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he gets a couple of knights on the field, this is game over. Rubenstock thinks otherwise, because he's bringing in more.
Well, even just, oh my god, yeah, Rubenstock should, too. He should go YOLO. But even just crossbowmen. Like, the archers are doing so fine. Crossbowmen and Bodkinera would do such, it'd be such a big help for Hearttt. And I think, not knowing the market rates, if he were to rush down that market, he could be on his way already. And here comes Rubenstock, Lidakor. I don't know if he's here to steal farms or attack archers, but Hearttt is going to have to micro his heart out. And it's working. He's actually doing an extraordinary job.
Yeah, this must be very, very tilting to fight against. And I think the scary thing about this is that you have no idea if you're winning or losing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone loses these games. Typically, right? I don't think anyone wins these types of games. But as far as the scoreline goes, yes, I'm with you on that. And there's a Baron here. There's another tower for Rubenstock, but Rubenstock losing so many villagers. And it is extremely difficult to click villagers and attack them. Whereas archers, if you sit them there and you go to do a couple other things, Lita, those archers are going to keep attacking. And Hearttt just needs to buy the food. He'll be up. I think Rubenstock is slowly losing control of this one.
Yeah, that is slowly spiraling out of control, especially with 20 villagers lead now. for Hearttt. Rubenstock is getting a Barracks up, but I think it's a little too late for now for him. Fun fact, he could actually rush down that TC with the villagers because there is no one to garrison it, basically.
Hearttt just lost a villager to a bear. Everything's going wrong. Even the bears are against him. Oh my god. But seriously, Hearttt has played so well. I did love how active he was with his archers at Rubenstock's eco the whole time. And now he's on his way to Castle Age. Does Rubenstock have enough to be able to take the food eco, the wood eco, and the gold eco out before the upgrades come in?
I think the thing that Ruben is missing is just not balancing out his eco. 800 stone in the bank, but he can't build towers fast enough to use that up.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, in some ways I agree with you, but I've also seen YOLOs work so well. It just came down to Hearttt preserving his archer numbers and Hearttt getting that gold. Like, he's out of that gold now. That's 800 times 3. Over 2,000 gold that he was able to find in that corner. And that you could see as unfortunate from Rubenstock, but also Hearttt scouting the neutrals. There's one in Rubenstock's corner too, and Rubenstock just not realizing that he was expanding. Great hold for Hearttt. This is going to give him a lot of confidence going into the future games.
Yeah, and it probably will give him some long-term mental damage as well.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think if you lose to this, you get frustrated, and then you try and recover. You win against this, and you say, all right, whatever memes you're going to throw my way, I'm going to be able to deal with it. But again, it does depend on the player too. It depends on the day. Crossbow and Bodkin on the way. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but I think the GG is going to be called. Rubenstock, just no answer to what's coming out now.
He will try buying himself up though, and he's got a couple of egos on the field, but I feel like that's indeed too late. I hear another bear somewhere.
They're out there, man. Oh, yep, there's a bear. Okay.
That's gonna be close.
I think the lady wins that one. I think she wins. Yep, easy win. His Hearttt is now... Look, he even found the other neutral gold. And he's making a TC all the way on the other side of the map. He has really scouted well. And this is as Crossbowmen are going forward. I mean, I appreciate the fact that Rubenstock's trying. It's not like he doesn't have the stone to make defensive towers, which he's doing at home. Yeah, he's on his way to Castle Age. He's actually going to give this a real shot.
Yeah, he will, because I would think that he will try a YOLO castle as well. I don't know where he's going to drop it, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, the towers are up. It's hard for Crossbowmen to work now. Hearttt losing some of those. Let me look at Rubenstock's scouting. Rubenstock has not... Well, he knows that there was a gold in that corner now. He's actually raiding with the Eagles, so that will be short-lived. But he does not know about the gold in the south, Vita. So that's going to be good for Hearttt. And Hearttt has the food eco to possibly tech switch into some knights, too.
Yeah, I think he has to, because otherwise his crossbows will be too slow to deal with eagles, and he could just get raided and raided by eagles.
Yeah. I mean, he's mining Heartt's gold. He's mining Heartt's stone. He certainly has no shortage of stone and gold. It's just the other resources, and while I normally would love a switch to Eagle Warrior in this position, it doesn't look like his economy is good enough to get there.
Can you make a guess on how many towers Rubenstock has on the map right now?
I wish I had a stat on how many he tried to build, because he's lost a lot, but I'd say about 8 on the map right now.
It's 16.
What? Okay, I don't know what I was thinking, actually, when I look back over at Heartt's base, because he's got 6 at his own base. Now, someone do the math on how many castles you could make with that. What did I say? 8? What is wrong with me? I have problems, man. So many vills dying, though. Good job from Hearttt. And finally, Rubenstock hits Castle Age. And you're right. I think a castle drop could work well. Hearttt is actually dropping a TC on his main gold right now. And Rubenstock is walling in this other gold. Rubenstock is not going to give up here, is he?
No, he won't. I feel like we're actually getting closer and closer to a game that we had against Project Belgium in last Hidden Cup.
I agree with you on that. Like, every Hidden Cup qualifier rolls around, everyone crosses their finger that they don't have to face up against Rubenstock. Who won that set, by the way? I recall Rubenstock and Project Belgium being very close in that. I think it went 3-2 for somebody.
I don't remember. I remember that the game was won by Rubenstock, and I think Project Belgium was so tilted after.
Yeah, I think Belgium won the series. But maybe... Okay, someone's saying Rubenstock won the series. Okay. Interesting. And then I forget who Rubenstock eventually lost to. He didn't make it all the way. But wow. Hearttt. Again, I'm impressed. 67 vills. He's going to take out this tower next to the main gold. Mine that gold again. Do you think there's anything more that Hearttt needs to do here? Because to me,
Knights.
it looks at... Okay, yeah, Knights.
Like actual Knights, because we are getting to 14 Eagles with +2 defense, and they would just run past the archers and kill the villagers on the wood line of Hearttt.
Yeah, I see that. He's almost has so many areas on the map to focus on, it's impossible to know what the attack signal is coming from. Because look at the mini-map from Heartt's perspective. Look at the blinking. That's where he's being attacked. So you have 8 different areas that's blinking on the mini-map. You get the attack signal, you might not realize that it's from 2 eagles that squeak in here. Not fun to play against, that's for sure.
Those crossbows will also get surrounded by the eagles. If,
Which one?
Which the right side ones? Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell. Where is it? Look at the right side of the map, Tristan.
Yeah, I see it now. Crossbow is running away, and yeah, I think some mobility would be helpful for Hearttt. Also, ballistics would be huge. So he's not missing a lot of these volleys as they run away. Because he's, as it stands, a lot of the volleys are missing. Rubenstock should just continue to use the mobility and move around here, and he's trying to do that, but I think he's got to preserve his eagle numbers there, and finally does get out of here.
Yeah, but at this point, Hearttt still has a huge eco lead, but one thing he doesn't have is food eco. He's got 6 on food, which means that, yeah, he has multiple TCs, but, you know, producing villagers is just a distant dream for him right now.
Yeah, it's such a weird game, man. I feel like if Hearttt didn't have the neutral golds, he would have been dead by now, right? Because he would not have the crossbowman. He would have no defense. But because he found the neutral golds, which credit to him for scouting, because it's always a bit random, he does still have a chance. And, well, he's got more than a chance. He's got a lead. But Rubenstock's chances all depend on if he's able to continue to deny resources. So I just don't know where he can choose from. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for Rubenstock. There's so many areas that are exposed to hit. There's too many to count.
Yeah, he might just be like, okay, whatever, you're gonna run out of gold at some point, right?
That's probably what he's thinking. And that's why, like, when he spotted the other neutral was taken, he probably thought, oh, now he's out of gold. And currently, he's probably thinking that Hearttt has only been using the gold that he's about to attack, which is actually incorrect. Hearttt still has all that other gold in the south, and the Eagles are just going to dive right underneath the town center.
Yeah, those are going to be some very expensive rams going down for Hearttt, so that is sort of a little win over here for Rubenstock, and the tower isn't able to reach the gold mine, which hurts quite badly for Ruben.
What a weird game. Still crossbowman around for Hearttt, but he's got other things to look at right now. He's noticing that there's an exposed area of Rubenstock's eco. There's 43 crossbows on the map. That is a lot of crossbows. Castle Age Eagles are strong, but there's only 17 of them for Rubenstock, some of which are weak, but Rubenstock reacts to this crossbow army. What a ridiculous game. Rubenstock is so entertaining to watch. Oh my word.
Ruben is actually stonewalling him one tile of stone right next to Heartt's base on the left.
Oh man, I noticed that, yeah. I think he walled that one in like 10 minutes ago, actually. There's so many crazy things going on, and Hearttt lost a couple crossbowmen to the towers as he tried to get snipes. Finally, ballistics is on the way, and finally a Mangonel for Ruben. He's going to send Mangonels out of the middle siege workshop forward. The guy's got 8 on wood right now. He does not have good economy.
I think no one in this game actually has good economy.
Well, I mean, you know, 87 villagers is pretty good. You know, I don't think that Heartt's going to be upset about that. I think he's going to be upset about the fact he might run out of gold soon if he doesn't secure that main gold. And I think this is where the game is either won by Hearttt or is extended by Rubenstock, because Hearttt finally has some knights. He'll have his own siege. It's all going to go down right here on the main gold. If Rubenstock can get big hits in here and snowball a push, he's got a chance. If he doesn't, I think Hearttt overwhelms. Tell me Heartt's paying attention.
Now, Heartt's knights have 0 upgrades on them, so it's not really easy to fight against eagles that have +1/+2.
True.
With those. He's making Cav archers.
Rubenstock was in that tower. He hopped out of the tower to kill a ram a moment ago and then back into the tower. Chinese Cav archers, Vil fighting, towers, knights. Oh god, Rubenstock with a big fail though. He just lost his Mangonel to a ram. That hurts. And
Yeah,
good
that
micro
hurts.
from Hearttt there.
Also, there's a blob of crossbows inside Rubenstock's eco from Hearttt that is just denying half of the farming eco that Rubenstock would normally have.
Yep. Rams, they 2-shot a Mangonel. I think they do. I think they take a Maginot down to like 4 HP with 1 hit. It's just good awareness from Hearttt, and it's been messy. It has not been fun for him, I'm sure, but it's at the point now where he's got double the population, more than that, and Hearttt should win this game. For a while there, it wasn't looking good for him.
Yeah, I think the key, as you said, was preserving the archer numbers. Once you had like 6-7 archers, you can actually micro away from villagers.
And he has so many vills that even if he loses 10 or 15, he's still going to be in a fine spot. So that and just weathering the storm and macroing, somehow, even though like his starting TC's gone. You know, like that TC's not there anymore. His game plan was good at the start to go archers, I feel. And here goes Rubenstock, like we said, killing vills. Not going to be enough there.
Yeah, it's still double the villagers. Fun fact, the starting TC was killed purely by towers, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, God. Well, here's some rams for Hearttt. There's so much to ram down. This is going to take an hour to ram it down. But look at the crossbowmen and the cav archers there. Mopping up the eagles, freeing up some space. Everywhere you look, there's military. At this point, Rubenstock should consider calling it, I think.
Yeah, Hearttt is actually almost pop-capped in Castle Age.
And honestly, continue to do it. Continue to stay in Castle. Imp doesn't really give you much. Just switch into light cav with your cav archers and crossbows and just take full map control. Maybe drop some castles too, if you've got the stone.
If you've got the stone, that's the hard part. But yeah, as you said, now the knights are coming, and I feel like once you have like 10 knights on the field with bloodlines and a couple of upgrades, this should be over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this group of eagles is the only group that Rubenstock has to work with. Hearttt confidently pushing out. This is before bloodlines, so it could have been better. He's just everywhere. More knights means the towers will do nothing as well. Hearttt just kind of waiting. And do you really feel like Rubenstock? I mean, do you think? Okay, I'll back up a little bit. Let's say you're in Heartt's position. You're up against this strategy. You think you've won at this point, and Rubenstock continues to play on just a little bit longer. Does that frustrate you, Lita? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. I think,
in fact,
I might be like, dude, what are you doing? And that might slightly get into my head.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I would be like, okay, I'm winning this, so let's just continue. In fact, I would personally be enjoying it because I know that, hey, I'm winning a game finally, so might as well just play on until my opponent resigns.
All right, that's fair. So next time I play you, I'm going to hide all my vills in the corner. How's that sound?
You won't need to because you're like 500 rating above me.
Okay. Oh, if I do it, what if I do it anyways? Just for fun.
You could. Or you could just, take a phone call and lose 2 villagers to a boar.
That's true. Did I ever tell you about the time I played Vivi, like 6 months ago? No, it wasn't 6 months ago. It was over a year ago. So I was playing Vivi, and I, of course, was going full tryhard because I was up against Vivi, who's such a good player. And then I rewatched the recorded game because I felt so good about myself for winning, and he deleted 2 villagers in Dark Age. Like, I never went from feeling so good about myself to feeling so bad about myself. I was like, yeah! And I had a good game, man. I had Teutons, too, and Teutons weren't that good back then. And then I go back, and he deleted 2 vills in Dark Age. Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, that actually reminds me a little bit to the game where MBL brought up his, I don't know, 5th or 6th Smurf account, and he was like 1300 and decided to delete, I think he deleted like 20 villagers in feudal or so. And then the guy came back. It actually went to post that he lost 1300.
Yeah, that is such an MBL thing to get overconfident and then like, oh, whoops. All right, well, Rubenstock's still trying. This was his last army, right? He cannot continue to fight after this. He'll see his pop is too low. Heartt's dropped a castle on the other side of him. Rubenstock's going to call it in 3, 2, 1. Never.
0, -1, -2, and it's nope.
Rubenstock, I don't know what the game looks like with your cube mod, but at least with normal mods and just small trees, it looks like the game might be a little bit over. Wow. He's still trying. He's still spamming eagles. Maybe he thinks that Hearttt is going to run out of gold, but it's not going to happen.
Oh, man. I feel like Rubenstock is kind of feeling like that dog sitting in the fire saying, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, The other thing that happens for me from time to time, and I don't know if it's an energy thing or what, but sometimes you just continue to play and you're so focused, you don't realize how far behind you are. Like, you don't look at the score. They, of course, don't see everything we see, so it is a big tournament. There's a lot on the line, and he was very close to winning this, so for that reason, he might be continuing to play on a little bit. I mean, this game looks like... This mini-map looks like you took a normal Arabia game, put it inside of a blender, and blended it up, you know? It does not look normal at all. This is ridiculous. And finally, the GG's called.
Well, that was an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, say what you want about Rubenstock, but you cannot say that he does not provide entertainment, because he always does. Hearttt weathers the storm, and Lidakor, I think we're going to have more entertainment because Rubenstock has Persians on his civ list, and I'm sure he has some crazy strategies prepared for his home maps.
Yeah, I think a lot is said about Rubenstock if we just say that he was the player, I think alongside Hearttt, that represented Finland in AOE Olympics on Chaos Pit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I feel as though that game was winnable for Rubenstock, though. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Not at the end, obviously.
I think it was Hearttt expanding a little faster than Ruben could catch up, and he was able to just balance out his eco with the market and compensate for the lack of food eco. That was the key.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that timeline, it really looks like Hearttt was ahead that whole time. But in the mid-game on Feudal Age, Hearttt, had he not found those extra gold piles, I think he would have not had any archer numbers. He would have had no potential for a counter. Rubenstock would have just overwhelmed him with the villagers. So maybe that, and also Rubenstock was a bit late with the attack upgrade on the villagers when he was going into fights. That can make a big difference. But anywho, dominant display from Hearttt. And game number 2 will be coming up, and I'm ready to launch in when you are, Lita.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna jump in there and pause it like a couple of seconds. I think that's the most consistent way of getting...
Yeah, sure. We can do 5 if that works for you. I've already seen the civs.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Me too. I'm at 5 as well.
All right, let's do a little 3, 2, 1, and start. For those watching, these games were played live about an hour or so ago. There's so many sets going on, and they can't coordinate to do it all live for round 2. So round 3, the best of 7 deciders, all those games will be live and scheduled appropriately for this. It's been going on for a bit, and Hearttt took the first win. In the blue, we have Rubenstock, the king of TC dropping. I have seen a much weaker player, no offense, Yupe, in Yupe, TC drop on this map before and beat someone, very big name, named Fire. So as Rubenstock's going for a different approach, keep in mind, if he wants to do it, it has worked before.
Yeah, in fact, he's the one that actually published the TC drop build order on the internet. So
True.
Whoever is actually reading that comes from Rubenstock.
Yep. So there's been an approach with Lithuanians where you go to wood early because you start with 150 food. You don't send 6 to food. And with that wood, you dock and then you make fishing ships early. Now, Persians are underrated with a similar strategy because they receive plus 50 food and plus 50 wood at the start, meaning you can dock right away and make a fishing ship. And this is after 2 houses. So I don't think this is going to be a TC drop for Rubenstock. I think that he just wants to gain a lead with the fishing ship. Then you have Hearttt on the other side, and Hearttt has gone for Portuguese, and I think this is the first time that I've seen Portuguese on this map.
Yeah, it is the first time I can confirm that, and I have no idea why he did this.
I feel like there's a lot of civs available for this besides Portuguese. Like, I'd have to look back at his draft. But Huns, Persians, Berbers maybe, Byzantines we've seen, Japanese, Lithuanians even. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, Malay is also an option.
Yeah.
And he has Italians, but I guess that goes for islands, I
Probably.
believe, if you have islands.
Yep.
Yeah. So he doesn't really have another amazing civ for this. I feel like the Italians and Portuguese double pick is just because many people are sniping Italians, and you cannot pick Portuguese to have a backup civ for islands.
Yep.
But because it wasn't sniped, you might as well use it on this map.
Hearttt is very well aware that Rubenstock scout is around here, and good work from him as he gets a hit in on that scout. I think if you're able to have consistent food eco, quick gate from Hearttt, nice moves. Just passing with the goats here is Rubenstock, but Anyways, if you're able to have consistent food eco with fishing ships and TC drop someone, I mean, that spot in front of Heartt's TC is just asking for a douche, right? And look at the amount the Rubenstock has on wood. He's going to TC drop this game. You're kidding me.
Yeah, he's gonna. I was about to say that is way too many Voyagers on wood for a build like this. I feel like TC drop here could be a little stronger than Arabia, though, if you think about that, because you will have the fishing eco at the back of your base that could actually compensate you for having a little bit lesser of an eco.
Oh my god. I mean, he's going to go forward in a bit. I'm just wondering, like, Heartt's going to probably, let's say Heartt wins this series. He's going to send a message to one of his friends and just be like, can I have actual practice, please? Because that series was not practice for the next round at all. Oh my god. Heartt's still at home right now. And his scout is currently sitting where I'm sure Rubenstock wants to place his town center.
Here we go. It is only 9 Voyagers pulled. You could pull a 10th one. And one thing that Rubenstock always says when you do a douche is bring your sheep. Because if you bring your sheep, you will be able to take that sheep with your new TC. That's extremely important when it comes to douching.
Heartt's going to see the Vills. Heartt's going to see the Vills. What does Heartt do? You can place houses and palisade foundations. Just to briefly explain this for anyone who's new, the TC drop works because Persian town centers have more HP than average town centers. And you have to delete your starting TC and rebuild one. So far from Heartt, he's seen the villagers, but no reaction at all. Heartt, you know his reputation, right?
And the ideal spot here is to drop the TC on the berries as well. That's a very decent spot. It's super close. I think it also denies the repairs. It's so close.
Oh my god. So the TC at home has been deleted. And Heartt seems like he's just going to let it happen and maybe think about relocating, I guess. And here comes the sheep. So he's bringing his sheep forward. And Rubenstock can take the berries. Rubenstock will garrison and eventually shoot this down. And Heartt is on his way to feudal age right now. So let's talk about the decisions, Lita, because it's funny, but it's extremely complicated because the idea from Rubenstock is that he will always have a TC. He will consistently create vills. When Heartt goes feudal age, that TC's idle, researching the upgrade, and then he's going to need to find a spot for new villagers. So, as someone who has studied the TC drop, key here for Heartt is to make good decisions with his stone, because if he makes a tower, he won't be able to afford a TC, and also make quick decisions on where he's going to take wood. Second thing is going to be make sure that if you can float the wood, get a dock up on Rubenstock's pond, because Rubenstock's fishing ships he's adding them right now. He's going to continue to add them and have untouched food eco. That was a mouthful. Sorry.
Yeah, you are completely right. Like, Rubenstock is definitely dropping a house on that stone mine. So the thing is that he could try starving his opponent out of stone here when it comes to TC drop. And I was looking at that PC and I was like, maybe Heartt needs to repair this a bit if he wants to go up to feudal.
That's true. Yeah, it was close. Heartt just lost a villager. You're right. That TC's so close that it actually can snipe some of the repair villagers. Okay, now Heartt's in feudal, but look at the eco lead for Rubenstock. Heartt, it takes a lot of resources to repair a TC. So it's not going to be so easy for him to just lose his and rebuild one, because Rubenstock might even Vill rush him then.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that like Rubenstock was trying to disrupt the lumberjacking. On the other side, you have to relocate your wood line. And really the bottleneck when it comes to replacing your TCs is wood. So one of the ways that you can battle a TC drop like this is once again counterattacking with a couple of archers. If you hit the opponent's wood eco, that should be fine.
Rubenstock in this position frequently Vill rushes. He does not want you to get your TC up. So he is going to send villagers after Heartt's woodline. And I think Heartt's rebuilding a TC or thinking about it. So Heartt hasn't quick-walled the woodline. Heartt could lose these vills. And Rubenstock's trying to wall him in. And Heartt reacts and gets out of here with the villagers. It's so messy. But it's Rubenstock.
Yeah, that is, I think, a very, very good summary of the entire series so far.
All right. Heartt making a new TC on the other side of the woodline. Rubenstock scouting that and is aware of that now. Heartt should save these villagers, but you can see because the TC's up, because of Rubenstock's resources, Rubenstock is consistently creating vills. No worries there. And Vill fighting like game one, no armor upgrades, but getting a kill and can just micro the weak ones back to his home.
Yeah, now one of the underrated things that Hearttt has done is using mobility of his Feudal Age Scout against Dark Age Scout, and Ruben lost his Scout, so he will have no information on where the new TCs come up.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to need to have information at this point, though, because he knows the TC's there. So I don't know if he really needs to know too much. And Hearttt is... I mean, Hearttt has lost 4 villagers. Rubenstock has lost 0. It's 35 eco versus 25. This is working. And to make matters even crazier for the people who don't know this, Rubenstock uses a cube mod. So the trees are just cubes. Just green blobs. The gold is just yellow blobs. His game looks ridiculous. His game plays ridiculous. But it's all about efficiency.
Yeah, it's crazy how many weird things the Suomi players do overall. It's Rubenstock with the cube mods. Back then, other Suomi players played that. But also, if you remember, for example, from Suomi, Viles is using only one finger to click 2 mouse buttons.
Did he change the way he does that, by the way? I see there's a lot of Finnish players in chat. You might be able to let us know. Yeah, he would use his pointer finger to click both sides of the mouse for a while.
I don't know if he changed that. My last info is from ECL LAN, and we have a clip about that.
Yeah, okay, he did apparently change that, yeah. But look at Rubenstock's plan. He's on the way to Feudal Age now. He could just send a villager over and dock Heartt's pond. His pond has not been docked yet. Heartt's got an archer, but I think Rubenstock will see the archers and think, that's not actually that big a deal if I take out his fishing ships. And he still has food income to maybe make something like scouts.
Yeah, and honestly, a couple of scouts from Rubenstock here could actually be pretty devastating. And we also have to keep in mind that Ruben will be able to access stone, whereas his opponent won't. So, for example, Hearttt cannot counter tower right now. Ruben could drop a tower and suddenly deny all that wood and gold.
Rubenstock losing villagers, but realizing it's not too bad for me, actually. And fletching archers for Hearttt. Good job from him to get fletching in. Still looking around. Okay, here, this is something that probably could have happened earlier for Hearttt. But he is now going to make a forward dock on Rubenstock's pond. And maybe he got the idea from the fact that Rubenstock was trying to do it at Heartt's pond. And Hearttt is denying that with Vills right now. Or is he?
Is he? Is he?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Wait a second, Hearttt. Chop that tree and then palisade it. He could palisade hop that tree.
Yeah, he can. He can absolutely do that, but the dock goes up, and this is a Persian dock as well, which means it's working faster, it is higher HP, so getting rid of this is going to be awfully hard for Hearttt.
Yeah, well, it's going to be awfully awkward for Rubenstock. He's getting towered, archers are here. Man, Hearttt is so fast. They don't really get to see how he typically plays in this series, because Rubenstock's a crazy player, but Heartt's very, very, very high pressure player, constantly putting you under some type of duress. Look at the resources for Rubenstock. Is he somehow going to click up to Castle Age?
This is the build that we call Slow Castle.
Slow soul, man. Get it right. I think, is the response here from Hearttt to send his villagers over to the berries of Rubenstock and like take the boar and whatnot for food? Because if he starts to lose fishing ships, I mean, even without losing fishing ships, he really doesn't have a lot going on when it comes to food. And if he does end up getting food, it's going to take time as he needs to dock additional ponds.
Yeah, now, fun fact, Persian knights actually do more damage against archers, so if Rubenstock gets up into castle here, and he gets a couple of knights out, that's going to be a very, very easy cleanup against Heartt's archers.
Yep. Honestly, and forgetting that Civ bonus, just 2 knights with armor, and Hearttt loses everything. The skirmishers were... Probably was just a knee-jerk reaction from Rubenstock after the pressure, but he's looking at his position now. He's going to click up the Castle Age, and he's not going to have any worries, I don't think. A good job and good defense from Hearttt, though, on the pond in the east. And then also great offensive pressure, taking out the fishing ships from Rubenstock in the west. Very important as Rubenstock's docking the south, and Hearttt is docking the north at the same time.
Yeah, if you're Rubenstock, you could seriously consider just sending a couple of villagers to stone. You know where the TC is at, so technically with a couple of knights, you can even castle drop your opponent. Like, send 8-9 villagers to stone, and you can actually pile up enough stone for a castle drop by the time you reach castle.
I really wonder if Hearttt is one of the best players for Rubenstock to try these strats against, as far as the top 10 seeded players go. Because Hearttt was gone from the scene for so long, and Hearttt probably doesn't know Rubenstock's reputation like others. I'm sure he's heard... Nikov probably sent him a text and was like, good luck against that madman today or something. But, like, since Hearttt was gone for so long, he probably didn't watched the Legend videos. He probably didn't experience it in ranked games because Rubenstock plays at a different time than him. Hearttt might... I mean, he certainly underreacted when the TC was going to go up and he saw the villagers. He didn't even try and palisade it. He's probably going to see the castle age time from Hearttt, or from Ruben, excuse me, and be very surprised.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh boy, now we're in trouble. Now there is no stables coming in here from Ruben, or I don't. There is the stable on the north. Oh my goodness.
Yep, that makes sense. He's in the north, Randomville. He's also docked there and making fire galleys. Now, this is not the first time we've seen this strategy, Lita. I know MBL was doing it in ranked games. Rubenstock and Yupe, I think, started it. But it's honestly amazing because if you can shake up the mentality of the enemy, they just don't know what to do. I mean, Heartt's making a scout right now to deal with skirms. Rubenstock was never going to invest in more than just a few skirmishers.
Yeah, indeed. And he's gonna wait. I think that's a good decision from Ruben. He's not unleashing the first knight and showing it. He's gonna wait until he's got free.
This is over, isn't it? It feels like this game is over the second knights show up. Hearttt is forever feudal. He does not have economy.
Yeah, I feel like now you really start taking over the game with knights, and then potentially, as I said, a castle drop could be an option. You, I think, need something that finishes off the TC of the opponent, though.
I mean, or you just boom from here. If you're killing villagers with knights, you could just turn this into a second TC, start adding farms at some stage, and just boom a little bit. It's not a real boomy position, but there's nothing Hearttt can do against knights except for quick walls. And his main gold can't be taken. Rubenstock's already mining away at that. And there's a mill. That's the first time that Rubenstock has even had a mill in this game. So he's building a mill after the berries are gone, and now he can farm. There we go. That makes sense.
Yeah, better late than never.
Right. I just assumed, forgive me for assuming, people, that he would have had a mill already, all right? 25 minutes into the game, I assumed he would have one. Now he's got 2 knights microing against the spearmen, a couple knights coming in against the woodline. Hearttt might be tilting here. Hearttt might need to accept that this game is over pretty soon. We might see rams coming from the siege workshop.
Yeah, now he definitely is in trouble because, like, Castle Age units against Feudal Age units is a so huge power spike that it is nearly impossible to overcome, like, a sustained long Feudal Age against Castle Age units.
Honestly, Hearttt, if I were to give you life advice right now, I'd say rip the Band-Aid off and just call the GG. The more that you try here, I'd admire it. Well, actually, hold on a moment. I didn't realize he could abuse the market to that degree. He is still in this. He's going to continue to try, and the fishing ships that he has are going to give him some type of a lifeline, I think, for now. And maybe Rubenstock should focus on the other pawns for now.
Yeah, I feel like the problem is going to be that those fishing ships will run out of food soon, and you will need fish traps if you don't actually have food for yourself.
That's what sucks. But then again, Rubenstock is just now adding farms. His food eco's not the best either. Rubenstock chasing down the villagers from Hearttt, and Hearttt, 2 games in a row, is just relocating to corners. This is one of the crazier sets we've seen. Probably the craziest set in terms of the strategies we've seen so far in the qualifier.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen some crazy strats overall, but I feel like Ruben is doing something special here for us.
Yeah. Well, it's not a crazy strategy that works one time out of 100. Rubenstock has shown us that he can do this in tournaments. Look at Heartt's trying to run to the north, but there's already knights waiting for him. Rubenstock has Hearttt surrounded. Fortunately for Hearttt, he has spearmen and archers with this group. Look at how crazy. I mean, Hearttt doesn't even have his base anymore.
Yeah, it's sort of turning into Nomad. Rubenstock is like, oh, T90 forgot to add Nomad into the Hidden Cup. Well, let's try to change this.
I mean, 3 Scorpions and this amount of Knights is amazing against the army composition that Hearttt has. So now Hearttt knows that he's been spotted. He's abandoning that lumber camp. He's going back to his TC. Again, pick Berbers when you're up against Rubenstock so your villagers can run away faster. That's your best strategy, apparently. And Rubenstock can't find him. Yeah, Rubenstock doesn't know he went back. What a play from Hearttt. Oh my god.
They are playing hide and seek over here, and he's like, where is he at? Where is he at? Imagine if Rubenstock had a tower on that wood line or that gold, by the way.
Yeah. Or just leave a Scorpion there. Scorpion would have been so good. Now there could be some knights for Heartt. And you mentioned the fish. He won't run out of fishing in the north or in the south for quite some time. He could send more fishing ships there. The other ponds are running out, though. There's Rubenstock underneath the town center. Heartt with some excellent quick walls, but here come the Scorpions. But also, there's a knight from Heartt.
Oh, but those are some nice hits that the Scorpions are having over there.
I'm so impressed with Heartt and his ability to stay alive in these games. And here he goes. Scorpions are going to go down. It's 76 population versus 53. While there's a lot on water for Heartt, Rubenstock, he's going to have more than just a few knights and Scorpions now. Heartt has stayed alive yet again. 2 epic games in a row where the strategy has just been unbelievable from Rubenstock and the defense as well from Heartt.
Yeah, I feel like one of the things that Heartt needs to do in this situation, I think he's doing that well, is not panic. Because the biggest thing that could go wrong when you're up against a strategy like this, panic.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, that quick wall there from Heartt, he pre-walled that, so the knights and cav archers couldn't get back over to the base of Rubenstock, which I'll now call this his. Rubenstock's economy, not looking great. His pond control, not looking great. And you look at the score now. You look at the amount of villagers on each resource. The one real problem for Heartt is gold, but there's gold elsewhere to find. Heartt is doing an okay job.
Yeah, in fact, Rubenstock's original base is full of gold, so
yeah,
technically there is so much. I think in Cross there is even more neutral gold than on standard maps, or like Standard Arabia, for example.
In total, there's 2 additional tiles compared to other maps. Is 4 2-tile neutrals as opposed to 2 3-tile neutrals, which means it's 8 versus 6. A lot of reason to expand all over the map. And Heartt, again, killing Vills. What an impressive hold. You know, one thing it's not very glamorous and it's not very wild. So at times we weren't looking at it as the Scorpions get some massive hits. Were the ponds. Somehow Heartt was able to get every single pond, leading to keeping himself alive here.
Yeah, it's very debatable if having a map like this is good for TC dropping or not, because the argument is that the TC dropping player will have a better eco with the pond, but it also gives a bigger recovery chance for the player that is getting TC dropped.
But if you look at the investment, he's got like 3 minimum. Oh, damn it. As I say that, I see 2. Okay, let's say 2 fires minimum in each pond. And at some point, there was Rubenstock contesting for that, but Rubenstock goes in with knights, and I think if Rubenstock can just invest into land control now, that he'll be in a fine position because Heartt is kind of all over the place. There's no structure. You see these villagers. Those are free kills for Rubenstock. So many Scorpions for Rubenstock, who's keeping himself in this, despite Heartt's amazing hold.
I think the problem that Heartt is facing right now is that his main army is crossbows, and they're slow catching up with this one. And Ruben, as I said, I feel like he needs a castle so that he can actually knock Heartt out of this game a little bit. As Heartt will probably have to go for his own knights, but even then, Ruben can go for camels.
And monks. And monks is the big one here. He's got monks behind the Scorpions, so at any point, as Heartt is doing the right thing to make mangonels, but if the knights come in, Rubenstock's ready to convert them. And Rubenstock is on 2 town centers right now. What a ridiculous game. Another one, if you just got here midway through, you'd be confused by. But we can only explain it by the name Rubenstock.
Yeah, exactly. Rubenstock's food eco isn't satisfactory for 2 TCs though, but now he's sending the vultures to stone. I feel like that is the move that he has to make, because if he destroys this TC from Heartt with a castle, Heartt is going to have a tough time relocating elsewhere.
I think Rubenstock should buy 300 food, get his wood upgrade, get his farm upgrade, and just turn this into a standard game from here. The fact that his food eco is not great is hurting him right now. If he had standard, like, solid farm eco, then he could justify losing a few knights here or there with these continuous raids. So that would be what I would say. I see that he's now sending some knights back over to what was his starting base, looking to see what Heartt's up to, but he did not scout that 4-tile gold that Heartt is currently mining.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense for him. He probably is playing for resource control.
Yeah.
As he's also dropping outposts on the southern part of the map. He probably figured out from a previous game, and that might be helpful for him that he played so long in that one, that the only way that Heartt was able to survive is by taking the neutral resources.
Yeah, that's true. Games are similar in that sense. The Knights go in after the Mangonel. They should take out that Mangonel. Hearttt repairing, though. Yeah, that Mangonel is going to be a goner. And that was important for Hearttt, too, because now Scorpions are coming in. He doesn't have a Mango. Yeah, another one's not even on the way yet. The pressure's on the wood line. They have to abandon yet another wood line.
And just look at the military numbers. It's much better for Hearttt, but all of it is fire galleys, basically. He's got a couple of crossbows and spearmen, and that's it.
Yeah, this is insane. And the Knights are getting converted as they go in after the Scorpions, the Villagers, and the sheep. Rubenstock said, bring the sheep, right? Heartt's learning. They're going back over to a lumber camp that I think was there this whole time. I think that placement was never deleted.
Has Knights over there as well.
Yeah. I see that. There's so much to look at. And Rubenstock will get a few conversions, but Hearttt swoops in and takes out Monks and Scorpions. Rubenstock's Knights are just waiting to see the Villagers. Yep, and he'll find the kills. This must be so tilting for Hearttt.
Make it stop. Ruben is close to actually dropping a castle. I feel like now if he wants to go full memes, he actually makes a war elephant here for us.
I don't think Heartt's the type of player that you want to motivate by doing that. You know, like I think Heartt's the guy you get him a little angry, which that would do. I think Hearttt gets motivated by that. I think you just be annoying and nice. Like, there's nothing worse than losing to a guy doing this, and they, like, smile all the time, and we're like, oh, good luck next game. You know, when someone's doing this crap to you, you almost want them to be BM. You almost want them to be mean. And that's it with Rubenstock, too. He is such a nice guy. He still does this crap and makes your life a living hell.
Yeah, exactly. He's such a nice person. Hearttt is nowhere to go. He's moving left, moving right. It's absolutely the situation where it's like, where do I even go?
This is what I was going to say 15 minutes ago. Hearttt, rip the Band-Aid off. Just call it quits and get this game out of your mind. Don't let this linger, you know? He sees the score, and water score is probably the only reason he's in this game. Having Navy and having fishing ships boosts your score a lot here. But he does not have this game, or at least it doesn't seem like it. He's completely surrounded. Rubenstock looking for him, as Rubenstock is going to even go to his main gold in a second and control that too.
Yeah, and the thing is that Ruben is getting close to a castle. Hearttt finally finds a wood line at the starting base of Rubenstock, but as you said, the problem is that there's just no army here for Hearttt to stop these knights from raiding everything.
Yeah. I mean, Hearttt is a great hide-and-go-seek player, because the amount of times that Rubenstock has gone to an area and Hearttt has already left is impressive. In fact, if we have the time, I'd like to count how many lumber camps Hearttt has had in this game.
A lot.
Because I would guess that he has over 10 lumber camps, and maybe even the mining camps too. But it's just constant pressure from Rubenstock. In his game, the game is simplified by a bunch of cubes, and so he just continues to run over to the yellow cubes and the green cubes to see which wood lines and golds are being taken. Heartt's still trying, and Hearttt, population-wise, still in it, but I think we can see realistically he's falling way behind in some important categories.
Yeah, and like now he's going to have to start making fish traps with those fishing ships because it was so long.
Yep, exactly.
And he still doesn't have the wood.
Yeah, the pond on the right, can't really afford that. Pond on the left, about to run out of fish. Pond in the south, he's still got fish, and some in the north too, but he doesn't have many fishing ships. Gold is becoming a problem for him as he loses 2 more villagers here. Well, game 1 was really close. Rubenstock almost got the win. And this game, I think he's finally going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Just look at the voyage idle time from Hearttt. He's at 5 hours of voyage idle time.
This is unbelievable. 5 hours of villager idle time in a 45-minute game? What?
That wood line over there on the left because he's getting the outpost up.
Oh, well, there's a crossbowman there, so the crossbowman could deny the outpost. Or it's like, don't let them see. Don't let them see. Ah! Hey, she will probably die. It's a doubt post. 85%. Doubt post. 96%. Yeah, now he runs immediately. Yeah, okay, he's going to drop a TC there. He's worried about the pressure.
Ruben has been selling stone for quite a while instead of actually making castle, and now there's a lot of spearmen coming out, and suddenly Hearttt seems to be a little bit stronger on land than he used to be a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah. The spearmen are a terrifying sight, and Heartt's still just like, he'll get a conversion here or there. We'll make a knight here or there to take out a scorpion. Converting knights and killing scorpions it's an expensive loss for Rubenstock. But I think Rubenstock feels like this is going to hit a point where he can afford to take the losses because he'll have all the gold control. But he's good at getting in strong positions. Rubenstock's not great at closing it out. Hearttt continues to be a threat.
Yeah, now Rubenstock is going to send the knights to the left side, but as you said, the TC is already up. Ruben now has a 22 Voyagers lead, though, which is something that is not to be overlooked.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot on food. Finally got some important eco upgrades. And a castle drop feels like it could end the game because the map is already sectioned off so badly for Hearttt. If the castle goes up on Rubenstock's main gold, and by that I mean his actual main gold, not Heartt's main gold, then that denies stones, those villagers die, and Heartt's just kind of trapped. He can't really push Persians with their tanky TCs on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, the map presence from Rubenstock is pretty nice overall. So he's actually camping a lot of wood lines, dropping a lot of outposts for vision.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to his Fog of War on my side real quick. He's just waiting to see any sign of the enemy. And this is maybe the one area that he'll be surprised to see. Finds the TC here. Hearttt hasn't garrisoned his TC yet. And immediate castle drop from Rubenstock. This game is going to go to Rubenstock. Getting the wheelbarrow upgrade at 50 minutes. And yet he's going to do it after a TC drop and a big, big stage. Just
yeah, and now pikemen are out, but I think it's too late. It's way too late. Because Ruben's week was pretty nice overall. And the interesting thing is that Heartt's APM and overall his macro is very good, but when there is so many places to focus, it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, you're still reacting, right? Instead of being proactive. And it just like, this TC drop strat really gives Rubenstock an idea of where he needs to focus. It's almost like it's easier for him to turn the game into a massive mess, and then he can just pick a few spots to keep an eye on the entire time. I mean, Hearttt will have fished through most of these ponds, but I don't see what he can do now. And now he'll see the score switch too, and he probably has been feeling like this game is going wrong for him. Again, rip the Band-Aid off. I'm telling you, I can't knock someone for continuing to play. He should realistically continue to play. I always worry for someone's mental state, though, if they're tilted and they continue to play on in this type of a scenario.
Yeah, he's really trying. Like, he's making galleys on the right-hand side pawn to deny the wood line from Rubenstock, but it's 96 against 56.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, every time we say this, Hearttt shows why he should continue to stay in the game. A good Mangonel micro on the right side. He's got some monks and pikemen there, which in theory are really good. Rubenstock still just all over the place with the knights. And I guess you could try and dock if you're Rubenstock and make fires if there's any fish traps out there. I think just defensive siege right now. Maybe siege light cav, or even your own pikemen could clear this little push from Hearttt.
Yeah. And Ruben's map presence, I think Hearttt actually tapped out as he saw the knights coming to his gold mine. He was like, okay, I'm out, boys.
Which one?
The far left one that was originally belonging to Rubenstock, but then Hearttt took over.
I see. Yeah. Okay. This one. I think this is technically a neutral gold, but I think when Rubenstock's playing in a game, every gold's neutral. Like, it's just like when laming is allowed and MBL's playing, that the boars aren't necessarily yours. You're not stealing boars when MBL's playing. MBL's like, this is fair game. I'm allowed to take that, FYI. What a game. The score is 1-1. I still say that Hearttt is favored to win this series as long as he can get past the mental hurdles. But what wild strategy is Rubenstock going to go for next?
Good question. I need to get the rec for this.
Yeah, I'm still not finished dealing with this myself. But let's look at the statistics real quick, I guess, Lita, before we hop in. There's the KD from Rubenstock, 130 kills, 100 units lost. More food and more gold control, and I think the stone and gold ended up being the difference. The timeline. Whoa! Holy crap! And that probably comes down to the timeline being a very deceiving thing. The military was stronger for Rubenstock. He had low numbers of knights. Hearttt had a bunch of fire ships and just a few archers and spearmen. So eventually Rubenstock climbed his way back into it. My goodness. All right. Yeah, I don't have it yet either, Lita. We have potentially 3 more games left, and Hearttt will get to show us what he's capable of on his home maps. Slopes is his first pick, and Islands was his last pick.
After
And
this game, I think you go Islands. That's what I'm thinking.
that's actually funny. Go Islands so you don't have to deal with the landing. That's funny.
It doesn't mean you don't have to deal with that. It's just about, technically, Saracens would be a fun one for Rubenstock. He doesn't have it drafted, but you could actually fit 10 Voyagers into a transport with Saracens immediately.
Yeah. Bear with me here. Just trying to get everything loaded up myself. I assume you are then in the game and paused?
Yes, I will in a couple of seconds.
All right, cool. Yeah, guys, these games happened earlier. It was around the same time as Jordan Kapoch. We didn't want to miss either set, so we were able to cast Jordan Kapoch live. And these are unspoiled Rex, so it's basically as good as live, except we don't have to wait and have issues with the game not loading, and we can just move from game to game. I have not seen what the map is yet, and now I have, okay, and it looks like it will be Slopes. Lita, let me know when you're ready. I'll launch.
I'm at 10 seconds, so
cool.
Just say 14 and we can get going.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Game number 3. I like the civs. I'm a little bit surprised to see Aztecs, though. Curious to see how Aztecs perform. We have Rubenstock going for maybe a normal strategy for once in this set. He's here in the blue. And then in the red, we have Hearttt. Hearttt is in the red playing as the Magyars. Magyar is one of the best civs here, Lita. And what do you think about the map slopes?
It is better than it used to be. Hidden Cup 3 was just very, very biased towards Indians on this map. My personal feelings was that I think that from what I've seen from players not moving out to the ponds very frequently, I would imagine that like one more tile of Shorefish may actually motivate players to move out a little bit more. Okay. But it is more balanced than it used to be, and players also can't really figure out the meta for this. So we have seen scout civilizations like Magyars, Huns being played here. We have seen civs like Britons, Ethiopians that are much slower moving than them.
Yeah.
So really the meta is undeveloped right now for this map.
I think that's a great sign, right? Especially when the main event is going to have 8 players who haven't played in any qualifier because it's the top 8. They're going to be practicing and testing things. And then what's even more exciting about the main event of Hidden Cup is that the Rex and games are not shown until the 4-day event. So they have 1 week to play round 1. Win or lose, they submit their games. Then the next week, they play round 2. Win or lose, they submit their games. We compile them. We cast them over the course of 4 days. But like for 3 weeks, you can use a strategy as a player that no one sees unless you're a finalist. Or sorry, excuse me, semifinalist. Because I think technically the way it's going to work is the semifinals are played on the Saturday before they're streamed then on the Sunday. So Doubt and Tato in Hidden Cup 3 had these crazy strats prepared, and it's not like people could see them and prepare for them. You can use them all the time.
Yeah, I remember that. In fact, they used, I think, the same strategies, and it was fairly obvious that the 2 players were teammates because of that.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you share strats, but you're not able to share identities or any of that information. There's massive penalties for that and things we do behind the scenes. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this map in particular. I'm liking what I'm seeing in the qualifiers, though. I think we saw Britons win, Britons get destroyed. We've seen Magyars win and Magyars get destroyed. It's just whether you want to go scouts or archers, nobody knows. And there's high risk and high reward if you want to take the sides, or if you want to play passive and wall, which we will probably see from Rubenstock.
Yeah, we'll see how he's actually going to perform when he's playing standard. And honestly, I don't know what's up with the restarts because we don't have any information on these, but those berries are awful for Rubenstock.
True, yeah. Well, he's not going to make a mill yet, so that works, I guess. He's going for a pre-mill drush anyways. I think with, 8, 10 palisades, the berries are fine. Hearttt bringing in the food. And Hearttt with 4 on wood, which makes me think that he might not go for Magyar Scouts, and he might be thinking about a Man-at-Arms rush instead.
Could be, or could be straight archers as well in this one.
Oh my god, did that just happen? Hearttt just shot his own sheep underneath the TC. And how did that... I'm trying to figure out what happened there. I think he must have right-clicked it, and Rubenstock was able to change it to his color as he passed there. That was a weird moment.
I don't exactly know. Like I wasn't focusing over there, so I wonder if he just wanted to weaken the board with the TC and the random arrow caught the sheep. That could also be possible.
Yeah, well, funny moment, and a lot of small tilting things for Hearttt. So if he can get past Rubenstock with all the frustrating things that have happened in this series, I'm sure he's, as many people have said, one of the favorites to maybe win the best of 7 decider. But Militia coming forward for Rubenstock, and he's not going to chop wood on the right side, right? He's actually going to make a mill in the food. Please tell me.
I could imagine either, like trying to hide that wood line from the opponent. I think hiding a wood line against the opponent like that would be reasonable against the slow save like Britons, especially if you can kill this scout at the beginning. Against Magyars, not so much because the scouts will find you anyways. Okay, it's a mill.
Yeah, I can understand why that's important in Castle Age, but when you have so many close wood lines, especially when they're so large for him, he should be using that. But he's taking map control right now. He's going to mill on these shorefish. That's 400 food of shorefish, and then 640 food with deer. And he's forcing Hearttt into some quick walls, and Hearttt will have to scout those areas to see what Rubenstock's up to. And he's going to have kind of a difficult job in counterattacking if Rubenstock can get the walls down.
Yeah, it's going to be Men-at-Arms though from him, and Ruben is going to have Dark Age Walls.
True.
So the Dark Age Walls die to Men-at-Arms much easier, especially because Magyar Men-at-Arms will have the +1 attack immediately.
I think the best build here is Drush into Fast Feudal. You get the Militia forward, but then you plan on bringing in food income to go up to Feudal Age and match whatever the opponent's sending your way. But Heartt's going to realize, so he scouted the left side. There were no villagers. He now will scout the berries, and he will see... Oh, and Hearttt has to delete his lumber camp at home. Are you serious?
Yeah, he actually watched as the entire palace side went down. He didn't even repair it. I'm not sure what he was focusing on, but he didn't even repair it. Palace side and it went down. Militias got in it. He even deleted the lumber camp.
Wow. Well, I mean, you saved the vill. Deleting the lumber camp is the play. He didn't lose that weak villager. That sucks. And I think what he was probably focusing on was the fact that he hasn't seen a mill on the left or in the middle from Rubenstock. So he's looking, and he just confirmed on the right side that Rubenstock's over here. Magyar Man-at-Arms and Scout will have the free forging upgrade. This is bad for Rubenstock.
Yeah, that's -4 there. Oh,
should be.
Wait a second. He doesn't... Okay, he's coming back. He should be able to see the dead deer through the fog of war, right?
Yeah. I think he's waiting for the upgrade first. And Rubenstock, it's going to be hard to quick wall this.
It's if not impossible. I think it's extremely hard to quick wall this marshlands area. That's also a nice change compared to the previous version of Hidden Cup or slopes.
Well, from one side where Hearttt was able to save all the villagers to the other side where Heartt's going to get to kill every single villager. Great micro from Hearttt. Is a strategy from Rubenstock, which was Drush FC. Look at his walls. I think there's too much risk associated with this Lita. As you said, there's a lot of risk to go out there, but in this case, he didn't even find any reward with his attack. That hurt big time.
I feel like the Drush FC is something that people have experimented here with. What I don't like is that you move out to the mill too late here with this one, especially as Magyars. Even if Magyars went for scouts, those are very, very devastating scouts at the beginning. So I feel like you have a much better shot at taking the fish and the hunt at Dark Age, when the best thing or the worst thing that you can actually encounter here is militias.
Yeah. But we also have to remember, Hearttt had to work for those kills. He scouted each side. He then spotted that the berries didn't have a mill on it, and he made the correct calls. Not to mention that scouts is a common strategy, and he went for Man-at-Arms, which probably were more effective. That might not have been something that Rubenstock was accounting for. So I'm impressed with how Hearttt has played this map. He clearly is strategized and practiced and understands how it should play out. And now that he has control, Lita, look at him go. Take control, take the sides. He's going to gain some food from out there. This is really good play from Hearttt.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing it the way he should be. And honestly, the more I see this map, the more I feel like that the Man-at-Arms opening is now more legitimate.
Yeah. I'm feeling the same. Man-at-Arm into one range gives you so much control, but ultimately it does depend. It gives you a lot of control when the enemy's in Dark Age at 15 minutes, and so would anything. So Rubenstock has lost so much, and he's just trying to stabilize.
Yeah, this is gonna be a rush into a slow feudal and then just a very slow and painful death from
Yep.
Rubenstock.
Yep. You've got so many houses here, and Hearttt will be happy with that. Fletching's now on the way. You just leave one archer on the berries. For Rubenstock, it's a position where he's already behind, and he honestly hasn't gained anything from this build now. He doesn't have the res to go castle. So it's 15-minute feudal for no gain, really.
Yeah, and those man-at-arms are still completely alive, so they will help immensely at getting through the walls, which is a nice added benefit here.
Yep. This is just great overall play from Hearttt. I wouldn't surprise me if their castle age times are pretty similar, unless Rubenstock wants to sell all of his stone, because he almost needs to go for something like that. He needs to go to castle age faster. If he does not, I think it's just GG then, right?
Yeah, but I think the problem here is castle age into what? If you were a non-meso civ, I would say knights can actually help you a lot. But eagles, you need a lot of time to mess them, and Magyar knights will eat them. Crossbows, once again, take a lot of time to get to. So I don't think that he's going to get anything from castle age here immediately, and he needs something like right now.
Yeah, and he's just sold the stone, so he can't tower. The amount of damage that Heartt's been able to do with 6 military units, or wait, 7 military units is insane. And he also defended at home, has not overchopped, has paid close attention to that. 600 food. I was going to say that, oh, there's a hole there. Okay, of course, right after I say that. And Hearttt, oh my god. Quick walls that. But yeah, when you mentioned Magyar Knights, it was about to say that that's not going to be the case. Heartt's still going to be in feudal, but he's not too far away from clicking up, and he has so much food on that mill in the north.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed here, like throughout all the qualifiers, is that many players attempted a Drush FC and just walling up, but the other player, if he realizes that, hey, my opponent is just camping within his own base, you can just move out for the short fish and the hunt, and you can compensate for your later castle age very, very nicely.
Yeah, it can affect your eco balance in the mid game, because sometimes people will rely too heavily on the side resources. But if you're paying attention and mix in some farms too, which Hearttt has done, and Hearttt is now clicked up, ends up being pretty good.
Ruben is dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He couldn't wall this out. He'll be in castle age in a second, and he's just going to make a few eagles, which would die to the man-at-arms and the archers. Not Rubenstock's best strategy, but clearly a map that maybe he didn't prepare for, and Hearttt did prepare for. It is Heartt's home map, after all.
Yeah, funnily enough, I feel like a TC drop here would have been a pretty decent idea from Rubenstock if you think it over.
Well, he's out of civs, so...
he isn't. Oh, come on. Like, Rubenstock has an entire tier list of douche civs. He gets Teutons, I think. That's the second on the list. And then Byzantines is there. You can go for Celts.
All right. And you're more of a believer than I am. I think Persians is the clear number one.
Yeah, it's obviously clear number one. It's about Rubenstock, and he can TC drop with any civ.
But he also can play... He also has won big sets in tournaments playing standard, right? It's just that this strategy was not a great strat for him. And on the bright side, since he got the win in the previous game, even if he ends up getting stomped here, which it kind of feels like he is, he has a chance to tie it up and then take it to a game 5. It's not like this series is over because of this, but 11 villagers killed by Hearttt. The taunt does not match the reaction that Rubenstock will have when seeing that stat.
Yeah, that is definitely great. And longswords, interestingly, from Hearttt.
Hole. There's a hole here. Hearttt, don't throw. Hole. Still a hole. Massive hole. 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 Quick walls. Hole. Oh, God. Okay, and longsword is coming in. Unfortunately, there's some man-at-arms here, because this is a messy moment.
Yeah, now, the thing is that I'm not necessarily a big fan of longswords here, other than, for style points, because even though they also get the free iron casting, they're a lot slower than the eagles are.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. Maybe longsword with a few knights would be good, but now okay with both. Rubenstock maybe feeling some hope because of this, but still the longswords are wrecking the eagles. They're not even eagle warriors right now, so you really don't have a chance when fighting knights and longsword, especially when you've lost so many villagers. Even if Rubenstock kills 2 here, he's still way behind, and the eagles get pushed back, and the longswords and archers are still in his base.
Yeah, exactly. And those are Magyar Knights, which are helping immensely here. Like, the +2 attack against the Eagles is extremely powerful.
Yep. Not Incas anymore, Rubenstock. Your villagers are not armored. They're not ready for this fight. They don't want to take this fight. They have to, though. Oh, boy. 25 vills for Rubenstock. 24 vills for Rubenstock. This is GG. Great play from Hearttt, and the game ends.
So now, seeing that Rubenstock didn't really stand a chance in this game playing standard, are we expecting something special from him on his other home map?
Well, I forget what the home map is, actually. But I think that, again, a point I'd like to nail down is that normally when you're a weaker player, you try and do something to mix it up. It doesn't have to be a douche. It doesn't have to be a tower rush. That's just what Rubenstock has done. Using Aztecs and going for a greedy fast castle can do incredibly well against Night Civs with Pikeman, Eagle, and Monk. It just didn't work out here. So I don't think... What I think was bad about the strategy was honestly the fact that he went to the right side and just crossed his fingers that Hearttt wouldn't find him. I think that you could justify going for farmy eco and do better off there. Or maybe going man-at-arms. I don't know. But, yeah, I guess to answer your question, first I have to see the map. I feel as though...
Gold Rush.
You said it's what? Gold Rush?
Gold Rush, yes.
Okay, well, now I'm confused, because I think Aztecs is top tier on Gold Rush. Why did he pick Aztecs there?
I think he wants Berbers on...
Huh.
I think he's expecting Tatars, and he's trying to go for Berbers to compensate for that.
Okay. Then Hearttt just goes Mayans and wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not
that
necessarily.
Is not even a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with using Aztecs in that spot, to be honest. I don't think the pre-planning was there for Rubenstock, but then again, I think you and I don't see the game like Rubenstock does at all. So there'll be a different outlook there.
I think no one on this planet sees the game like Rubenstock does.
Yeah. Did you almost say Cubanstock by mistake?
Maybe.
Okay. It's all right. You can admit it. We all make that mistake from time to time.
All right, I'm paused at 12 seconds.
Cool. So Gold Rush up next. Did you happen... Well, you've been following a lot of these games. What did you think of the Gold Rush games we've seen so far in this tournament?
I have followed all the games, literally all of them. So, what I noticed is that I feel like most of the games didn't really go very, very deep into post-Imperial. So, I think previously in Gold Rush, I've seen a lot more games that go into post-Imperial, and I couldn't actually explain why is that happening.
Interesting. Because I feel like the Gold Rush games I've seen in the qualifiers have gone longer than Gold Rush games prior. So maybe you've seen some really long ones. Like the one from Velez Classic Pro, for example, was very long. But I suppose there have been a few. And oh, shoot, I forgot to tell you. I'm at 24 seconds. Just go there and we can start.
All right. I am at 24 in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, back to our point here as we hop into the game. I think that something that players are figuring out about this Gold Rush is how widely spread the gold is in the middle. And you saw a bit of that in some of the sets in round 2, where if it gets close and someone builds a castle in the middle, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have enough control, right? There's other areas for gold control to happen. I remember Classic Pro staying alive against Velez in an amazing game, taking some of the gold, even though there was a castle in the middle. But back to the civs here, Hearttt playing as the Mayans. A common civ for this, a civ that loves their walls on a map where you do see a lot of walling, and Rubenstock has picked Berbers. How do you think Berbers shape up against the Mayans?
Awful. Absolutely disastrous. Like, I think you kind of have to YOLO triple stable Knights play here if you play standard. Like, your Camel Archers will die to Plumed Archers. In fact, the Berbers are very, very exposed to siege ram pushes, and Mayans are actually pretty nice with that. So, really, I feel like if this goes into Imperial, then we're just going to have Hearttt stomping here.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that there's potential for Berbers in all situations because of how cheap those Knights are, though. If Hearttt isn't careful, early Castle Age could be a big moment for Berbers, with a few Knights flooding the map and a Siege Workshop to follow it up. And I could see... Well, the one thing that comes to mind for Berbers as far as composition goes is probably Knight Scorpion. Not much that Mayans can do against that. They could go crossbowmen, maybe a few monks, maybe a siege workshop. But if there's 3 or 4 scorpions with knights, Mayans don't have a great answer to that. But looking at the maps here, 7 tiles of gold per player. 1 gold a little forward for Hearttt. You look at Rubenstock's base, his gold. While the 3-tiler is a bit further away. It does feel as though it's realistic for the players to wall on the front, though. And I'm hoping we see a wolf rush here. Someone make a barracks. Instead of making 3 militia, just make 1, round up all the wolves, and send it to the enemy berries or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be Rubenstock. If someone is attempting that, that's going to be Rubenstock.
Yep.
It's interesting, by the way, to draw comparisons between the gold rush of Hidden Cup with Berbers and 2v2 World Cup's Golden Pit. And if you remember, in 2v2 World Cup, Berbers was like the #1 cavalry civ for Golden Pit. And like the concept here is that you are actually pushing away the opponent from the gold with an early Castle Age Knight push. Fun fact, the best archer civ for 2v2 World Cup there was Mayans.
Was it the best?
Yeah, because they still had obsidian arrows. So the game plan was sort of that the ideal composition was that you go triple stable knights with Berbers. And that kind of forces your opponent to invest a lot into his Castle Age fighting. And then you try to get a castle up in the middle with the Mayans, go into Imperial and go obsidian arrows and just level the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation for about a different tournament, different settings, different time. I felt Saracens were almost more devastating on that map because you don't need obsidian arrows. Rocco, I'll get to you, but thank you. Yeah, lots of archers, lots of knights maybe expected here. And Hearttt with the barracks is making more than 1 militia, and Rubenstock just lost a scalp. Ouch.
Feels bad. He probably was paying attention elsewhere because he saw the tile of gold, and that is a clear indication that you're close to the opponent's TC.
Just stopped right next to the TC for about a second, 2 seconds, and that's enough to make all the difference. Now, he's making 1 militia. He's rounding up the wolves. How funny would it be if Hearttt starts sending his militia across and Rubenstock finds him and then just deletes his own militia so the wolves attack Heartt's drush?
Yeah, that's why Hearttt is avoiding that hill. He knows exactly the wolves are coming. I think Gold Rush was put back into the ranked 1v1 map pool some time ago, and I saw Ruben doing this, and that militia is actually very, very low in HP.
Oh no, it's dead. It's the flying V of wolves over here. And now Rubenstock doesn't have his scout. Here comes Hearttt with the militia. Rubenstock might be completely walled, but I'm not sure. I mean, there's a gap there.
The TC is not covering that gap. Those militias will just walk in there as the next militia is coming out.
He's making another one. He knows where the wolves are. He's distracting, and Rubenstock's trying to wall it up, and oh, this is a disaster for Rubenstock. I mean, he is going to keep them lit. Whoa!
Whoa! That was nice. That was definitely something from him. I liked how Rubenstock panicked. You could see that he just selected all units that he could. He even sent a sheep there with the villagers.
That sucks, because the drush is meant to delay. It's not meant to kill. It's just meant to delay. Now he's lost 2 militia for 0 gain, and there's still 2 militia and an eagle here at his base. Plus, he can't scout to see what Hearttt is doing. So as far as disasters go, this is definitely up there as one of them for him. Just got to fight it off now and maybe get another militia forward. Do you want to make 3 militia when the idea was to make 1? I don't know.
No, you don't. You probably don't. Especially because by this time, Hearttt is going to be fully voted, so you won't really accomplish much with that.
But for the viewers, man, I'd like to feel in some ways, Rubenstock, he knows that people want that militia to come out. And there it is. That's right. Might not win the series, but Rubenstock wants to get the wolves. I'm really excited to see any possible reaction from Hearttt, because this is a recorded game. So I think if Hearttt were to type, it should show us in the recorded game, but it could be wrong.
It does. It would actually show. Honestly, it's actually better that we're casting Rex, because if there was any chatter between the two, we would actually be able to see it.
Yeah, and for the main event, everything will be Rex except the finals. So I think there'll be a lot of chat and a lot of speculation on who's talking to each other. But Hearttt probably happy with his position. I'll look back at his base for the first time in forever. Able to bring in his zebras. Able to farm. Still has goats. I mean, his economy is perfect for a fast castle build. Rubenstock has a new militia. And 4 wolves now. And unless there's a hole here, all Hearttt is going to see is the wolves outside of his base. This is Heartt's point of view now, and here comes the militia with the wolves. This is funny. Woo, woo, woo. You go get him, Rubenstock.
Speaking of woo woo woo, I Nilly actually posted the Learn the Animal Sounds with T90 video on his Twitter, and I saw that you actually commented on that.
I did, yes. How unfair of him. He knew what I meant. That was pretty funny. You know, someone made a T90 sound mod. I have to make a video about it. But over 200 sounds in the game have been replaced with noises that I've made and sounds, just like words that I use. And I would not recommend it, Lita. It is ridiculous. Like when villagers are building, it's like bang, 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 bang. When they're eating fruit bushes, it's like vegetables, 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 vegetables. Even the archer noises, man, it's obnoxious. Don't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it anyways, but thanks for the advice.
I wouldn't have done it anyways. Yeah, it's like when you ask somebody out, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not interested." You're like, "Yeah, I wasn't really interested either. You know, I'm just, I just wanted to be nice." Okay. Well, Hearttt in a good spot. Rubenstock not. I think he'll have to use the market to buy some food here in a bit. But he did take out the militia, so that counts for something.
Yeah, and the eagle is still alive over here, and once Hearttt reaches castle, he's gonna have +3 attack on that, so he might actually go a little bit more aggressive trying to snipe a Vil that's low HP.
Yep. Talked about cheap knights. Big problem with knights v crossbows is that archers can be created in feudal age. You just click that upgrade when you're in castle age, and then boom, that's what makes it so strong. Poor wolves. These wolves didn't want to be here. They're far away from their family. They're just protecting their own. They're going to go down. But yeah, Hearttt should be able to do quite a bit in early castle age before Rubenstock can even make a knight. And I think, a player of Heartt's quality should be able to almost win the game with this big of a difference.
Yeah, I feel like Rubenstock's eco balance wasn't really on point here because he really needed the market to go up. And I think, honestly, he wanted to go blacksmith stable.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal situation here, especially against archers, because you want to have scale barding while you're going up already.
I like this, though, adding the scout to take out the eagle. That's good, because that eagle is going to be able to attack walls or at least see what's going on. And now you can see with your scout what the enemy's up to and if the archers are coming out across the map. At this point, though, you're just crossing your fingers if you're Rubenstock and hoping that Hearttt didn't have a good build order behind this.
I think Rubenstock also crossed his fingers in game number 2.
Yeah, he did. Definitely. And we're going to move on from that. Maybe, you know what? I can't even top it. So, Lita, welcome to the club, I suppose. Expo on the way for Hearttt. Bodkin should be on the way soon. He's going right behind that wood line. And don't tell me there's going to be an overchop, too. There won't be, but that's the only wood line that Rubenstock is using right now. 50 seconds, he can make some knights with no upgrades because the blacksmith is just now going up.
Yeah, now he starts to feel like how Hearttt felt in those games where Hearttt didn't have a safe wood line.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know what it feels like, but some are put into that position more frequently than others. And in this game, Rubenstock, he really has no one to blame but himself. Losing the scout, failing with the militia, making 3 militia when he wanted to make 1. And everything is just falling apart from here. I think a lot of people can relate to games falling apart and snowballing on you, but the only way Rubenstock survives here is due to the power of Berbers and their cheap knights.
Yeah, but it's gonna be tough with 8 villagers on food. I mean, they're cheap, but not that cheap.
Yep. Yeah, especially if Heartt's able to get a few Vil picks out here. Maybe even make a monastery at home, get some monks out. He has enough crossbows to threaten the Vils, enough crossbows to threaten some knights, and Hearttt shooting. Man, these Vils are so fast. I would have expected more to die by now.
Fun fact, Rubenstock's base is still wide open on the left side, but no one actually bothered scouting that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be scouted in this game. Knights going down. 4 knights with a scout. I think the value here should be insane for Hearttt if he focuses the knights. If that knight's weak, he takes it. It's not bad. What did he kill? 3 or 4 knights over the last couple minutes? But Rubenstock's still in this, and I think he should come forward with the Siege Workshop right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when you're playing Berbers on this map, you kind of have to go YOLO. At least double stable, preferably triple stable Knights play, and I think he's going to do that. And honestly, Hearttt doesn't really have a huge army here to fight against that. So 8 crossbows versus 5 knights is just very nice for the Berber player. It looks like Ruben sold all the 200 stone that he has had.
Yeah, just continue to do that. I mean, Heartt's adding a second town center, so you'd expect his eco to be better, but Heartt didn't kill many villagers. Here come the knights and the scout. They'll engage on Heartt's crossbows, and if Heartt has to run, Heartt will run down the hill. There's no chain barding here on these knights, but there's still a lot more knights than you would expect. And Rubenstock, he ran away from that fight. What do you think about that? Should he have stayed there, or was running away a good move?
I feel like he felt that if he loses that fight, then the game is over, because then his opponent is able to retain like 8-10 crossbows, and he's going to lose 3 knights, and his eco isn't really suitable for spamming knights here, it seems like. So maybe it was a little bit of a shaky hand over here and said, okay, I don't want to risk losing this. I want to wait a little bit more knights here, which might be the good decision, which may be bad. We'll see over time.
Yeah, I think I would have committed there because I don't remember the exact number of crossbows, but I know it's only going to be higher this time. But then again, the knight number is maintained. Heartt doesn't have any monks. Heartt will run up the hill. We now have 9 knights against 12 crossbows. 1 knight down. Good split from Ruben. He's going to surround, and Heartt kills another knight and hops right into that tile. Oh my god, what game sense there. That's a beautiful spot to sit in.
Yeah, that was absolutely wonderful execution. I feel like if Ruben is not getting +2 for his knights here, this game is going to go nowhere for him. The thing is that those knights are way too fragile against those crossbows with just +1 defense.
Yeah, and a lot of these are weak as well. He's trying to go for a raid. The TC ends up sniping 1, maybe even 2 knights here. Yeah, and Lee, this is kind of bringing me back to why I asked you about that initial fight. I think you fight with those 3 knights and take what value you can. Because without +2, you're never going to be able to get close to these expos. And so the future fights are more difficult to take. That said, I see a siege workshop. We talked about the power of siege and maybe some scorpions. It's still 48 villagers versus 44. And if Heartt doesn't eventually get a castle in the middle, which he's saving for, this is winnable for Rubenstock. And I know Heartt's micro is good, but it's always dangerous when you're using mainly crossbowmen against knight and Maginot.
Yeah, and one thing that we want to add is that there is going to be monks on the field, but Mayans is the only Meso Civ that doesn't have redemption, so converting Mangonels isn't an option. All he can do is hope to get a good knight conversion and try to snap Mangonels with the knights. That's the only thing he can do here.
I think Heartt is about to send villagers to the middle. He just wants to castle where his crossbows are. He doesn't need to go to the middle hill. The villagers are going to come soon. Yeah, here they come. So this is a crazy moment in the game. If Heartt is able to get this castle up, he moves on to the best of 7 decider next week against Barles. If he can't get this castle up, big problems for him, and it might end up going to a game 5.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Still no +2 for Ruben, though, and I feel like if he just sold a bit of a wood, and it looks like Heartt is going to have to bail on that castle, which means that Ruben could actually deny gold.
Oh boy, I mean, it's good for Heartt that he's building it with so many villagers as he splits here. And so I guess castle number 1 is going to be safe. Rubenstock fires and misses with that shot. He was hoping that Heartt would split. And Heartt didn't split there. Heartt with a good decision, I think, Lita. Had he gone for the hill, it was too dangerous.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision. That's not a nice castle, but it's a castle that at least goes up.
Yeah, and you've got more stone, too. So you're expecting to have the better economy. And big thing for Rubenstock is using the Mangonels to your advantage. I think maybe 2 or 3 is the number you're comfortable with now, instead of just 1 and 2. Keeping the knights away from Heartt's monks is important. If Heartt converts 2 knights, both those Mangonels are dead.
Absolutely. I feel like the problem for Ruben here is that he's behind by 12 vills. You could say this is a game that he can come back into. The problem is that the late game for him, like in Imp, Mayans will just dominate the Berber. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's doing the right things from this position. If he were to go for town centers and try and boom, he'd just die even harder. Like, this is really the best way for him to win this. And uphill shot with the Maginel, gets 1 monk. Probably not good enough. And Heartt.
And now there's an eagle on the field to snap the monk or the Mangonels.
Well, the Mangonels aren't sniped, and the monks go down, and Heartt has to back away. He still hasn't gotten a conversion here. Finally gets one. And Doink gets the Maginel. Okay, yeah, that worked out. Heartt backing away again, even mixing in Plumed Archers now.
Yeah, the Plumed Archers will eventually pay for their price over here, as Ballistics will just now come in for Heartt with that university. So Ruben is technically able to deny the gold from Hearttt, but one thing that we have to consider is that Mayan army is so cheap that obviously it's still going to take a lot of time until Hearttt runs out of gold.
It does really feel... You know, it's funny. We just talked about how he should stay 1 TC. But when you have control of the middle with this many knights with +2, now I think is where you send a few vills to stone, or you buy 100 stone and add a second TC. Just so you don't fall too far behind in vills. I mean, Hearttt is really struggling to think of ideas and a way to get to the middle, and he could run out of gold. What do Mayans do without that?
Yeah, I feel like Hearttt is slowly getting to the position where he might have to imp himself if he wants to get up, because he will need Arbalest to beat those knights.
That was sick micro there from Hearttt, who gets 2 conversions. And Hearttt confidently running in here again with splits. Rubenstock, you have to ask questions of the crossbows. And oh, it's a big shot, and the knights are still here, Lita. Oh,
yeah,
Hearttt. Damn.
And Heartt's base is wide open, by the way. This is the moment for Rubenstock. It's now or never, I think. But it's more like now than never.
Well, it's tough. If that castle wasn't there, he dives. But Hearttt wisely hops into the castle and ejects on the other side. But there should be more Mangonels coming. There's 2 more Mangonels coming. I'm telling you, if Rubenstock... I look back at his farming eco, and it's disgusting right now. But if he can put a little bit more attention to that eco and maybe switch into a TC or 2, he could do this. And Hearttt continues to have confidence in his micro, but he cannot move out.
Yeah, this is getting dangerous. He's playing with fire, I should say, but, well, he's playing with Rubenstock here.
And the knights everywhere, chain barding armor, 3 Mangonels. Heartt's KD is not too pretty. And Hearttt wants his next castle on the hill. Like we've been talking about, the first one was denied. This one here, Hearttt running away. He's fighting uphill. Heartt's in big trouble right now.
Yeah, he's on a timer. He's on a big timer because he's got about 1,500 gold left within his own base. That's still a lot, and as I said, I feel like soon the option for him is to go into Imperial and use the Imperial Age power spike with a stronger unit to beat this. Because Arbalest would just melt the Mangonels, the Knights, and you would be able to secure a position there. Without that, I don't see him getting close to the gold in Castle.
The confidence from Hearttt is still insane. It's still very impressive. A big thing that Rubenstock probably could and should do is bring a villager forward. It's fast with Berbers. You got to be repairing these Mangonels. You can't let Hearttt whittle them down. Plumed Archers are a very easy unit to micro for high-level players, and clearly Hearttt is confident to run in, pick off the Mangonel, and run back to the castle right now. He's about to click up to him.
Yeah, Rubenstock was so busy microing that he lost the Vulture to a Wolf, so the Wolves actually took revenge on him for that Wolf rush earlier.
I'm wondering which town center Heartt's going to use for Imp. Okay, he's using this one, which is smart, because the other one could get Trebbed down, or not Trebbed, excuse me, Mangonel down. And the Knights are going to run through. There's no defense here, as Heartt's trying to castle the left side, and he's being delayed by Wolves.
Yeah, no, the thing is that, sure, the castle goes up, but is it actually going up? And in the meanwhile, if those Knights just run in and kill villagers, it doesn't matter that you're in Imp.
Yeah.
And Rubenstock is going to find that castle.
Oh my god. Rubenstock has a chance. Heartt's going to Imp, but what will he have left, and will he have gold? There's Knights on the gold in the back. The Mangonels are in the front. This is crazy. All in play from Rubenstock. It will continue to be that. He's only got 10 on food, but he's making it happen.
Yeah, Berbers are scary, man. And look at Heartt's eco. It's absolutely in ruins.
Yep.
And he could be losing production buildings here. Like if, for example, Ruben takes down the range, that would prevent any crossbows from being upgraded to ARPs here. And it's only plumes now.
Wow. I mean, Heartt's going to struggle to get the food for Bracer. I think it's important for Rubenstock, and he realizes that, to engage against the plumes, because plumes with Bracer could take out everything. But look at that town center. Look at the amount of villagers here. And suddenly it's 60 villagers versus 76, but Hearttt is at over 2 hours of idle time, and Rubenstock giving himself a real opportunity. This is why I said if he had a bit more in the way of eco and just held the middle, he could win this game.
Yeah, tick-tock, says the clock, as Hearttt is running closer and closer to running out of gold. That's the problem. He won't just be able to buy himself a bunch of food and get those upgrades, because that's going to be very expensive for him.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to say I'm impressed with how Hearttt has played this, because Rubenstock has played it so well. We know that. Felt like he would be dead. Given himself a chance, and he's done that in every game in this series. This is one of the best competitive sets I've ever seen from Ruben, because typically he has the meme strats and then nothing else. and he can't execute elsewhere. But with Bracer on the way, Hearttt is 25 plumed archers, and these knights are just going to disappear. Rubenstock still will need a big hit, I think, with the Mangonels.
The tricky thing is that unlike Arbalests, which will get, which will easily outrange the Mangonels in Imperial with Bracer, Plumes won't. And that is a massive difference. They destroy the Mangonels fast, but they just don't outrange it, so you still have to be careful when you're microing against it.
Yeah, they're also like twice as fast, right? Twice as fast, and Hearttt clears up the Mangonels. He'll send villagers to build a TC there, a TC that should go up. Did you see what the second town center was from Rubenstock? It's in the middle of the map. Like, I thought he TC'd a woodline at home. He's like, give me the gold. Right there. Even adding a monk, I think, to get that relic soon. Crazy
I feel
play
like
from
he's running
Hearttt,
out of time, though, here. Like, Hearttt is now securing that ridge for himself, and Hearttt is out of stone, so he can't make more castles right now, but if that TC goes up from Hearttt, I feel like this is the end of the story here for Ruben.
Yeah, still has more villagers. Oh, big Mangonel shot. But Hearttt will have gold to make more plumes and 2 castles. And the micro, again, could be better for Hearttt, but it's confident micro as he's running all around with these very quick units.
Yeah. Do you think that Hearttt is gonna have nightmares after this game?
I'm going to have nightmares after these puns. I'm going to have nightmares. I don't know about Hearttt, probably, but they're not going to be as bad as mine, that's for damn sure. Mangonel should be focused by the TC. Good work from Hearttt. And yeah, still maintaining the plumed archer numbers. People are throwing tomatoes at you right now in my chat, man.
I get used to it, no worries.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm used to it too. Chemistry now, another upgrade, and maybe Rubenstock just didn't quite have enough. Plumed archer number will continue to rise and rise and rise. And Rubenstock not even close to imp, so he's just got to rely on the siege. And the siege has worked pretty well in this game, I'd say. Just not good enough if Hearttt has the eco lead as well.
Yeah, that's the problem over there. And I think the main issue that Ruben is facing is that Hearttt does have access to gold. So as long as there is access to gold, there is just no way. And nice quick walls from Ruben to prevent the plumed archers from running in.
Oh yeah, and his knights could take the villagers off of gold, and Hearttt just barely reacts there.
He needs to take that TC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe mix in a ram. It's not like plumes are great against rams. Great quick walls from Hearttt. Keep the knights out of his food eco. And the castle's now getting hits on the knights. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind, look at the army value. It's almost double for Rubenstock. And the thing is that you have a serious production bottleneck for Hearttt as long as you only have 2 castles for plumes.
Looking at Rubenstock's army value and saying that's great is like I don't know, having a very old and expensive vehicle that doesn't drive because it has no engine. Sorry to any car collectors I've just offended. That's the only weird comparison I could think of. But the knights don't seem all that useful in this situation. But maybe I'm wrong. There's a tower now for Rubenstock, and he's gonna try and go guard tower. It's not the worst idea against that gold.
Yeah, he's trying to push his opponent off from gold. That's the key to victory. And Hearttt is going to run out of the gold in the back of his base. And I think Ruben could just kind of YOLO castle push this one with the knights and the towers. Because if Hearttt runs out of gold, it doesn't matter that he's got better units in terms of quality. Because he's pushing into Ruben's base now.
Yeah, where's Halberdier from Hearttt? I think at this point, Hearttt believes he's so far ahead that he doesn't need it. And he might not. But I think mixing in Halberdier is such an easy thing to do with the food eco you have. And getting Halb with the plumed archers would be the final nail in the coffin, is Rubenstock's main economy really working too well. Knights coming back, which means they're not in the middle. And he's taking losses in the middle because of that.
Yeah, indeed. Especially, like, if he just sends in 2 knights to clean it up, they will just die so fast. And the problem is that Ruben is going nowhere. Like, he's sitting there chilling, and unless the map runs out of gold completely, it is very unlikely that he's gonna be able to come back in this one, because he's just never going into Imperial.
Yep. Yeah, and it was... So he was able to stay alive because of how all-in he was, but he's now dead because of how all-in he was. It's just... The damage needed to happen earlier than it did. And I think we'll see a castle from Hearttt in the middle soon. He's buying some stone. He's going to drop it there. This is a confident castle. A castle from Hearttt that says, I know that I'm ahead. I know I'm going to win this game. The plumes will soon be elite, too. He's saving up the wood and the food to get that upgrade. Does not even cost gold to get elite plume. If that castle goes up, Rubenstock needs to leave the TC in the middle and probably just accept his fate. But what a great performance from Rubenstock. Seriously, these games have been hugely entertaining, and he taps out.
Yeah, indeed. Especially game number 2 was just special. And honestly, Arabia was also very competitive for some time. So really impressive from Rubenstock. I think this game was also pretty nice because he kept it alive for some time, even though he was playing standard.
I agree with you on that. I thought 3-0 or 3-1 for Hearttt today, but I didn't think the games that Hearttt won, he was going to have such a hard time, you know? I really thought that Hearttt would steamroll him in his wins. And you look back at game 1, Rubenstock could have won that if a few moments went differently. Rubenstock honestly could have won this game as well if he didn't have such a disaster of a start, because the Berber all-in was not just, it wasn't needed here. It's probably your best play. So I think Rubenstock, if he continues to train, he can actually take it to the next level. And maybe when Hidden Cup 5 qualifiers happen, he makes it to the decider, as opposed to going out in round 2. But truthfully, it's always going to be tough. Hearttt is seed number 6. He'll be up against Barles next week then in a best-of-7 winner moving into the Hidden Cup 4 main event. And Lita, if you were to pick a winner out of those two in that best-of-7, who do you pick and what would the score be?
Bars versus Hearttt, you say?
That's what it will be, yes.
I would pick Hearttt, but I have no idea about the scoreline. Bars can make it 4-3.
Yeah.
But Bars could also lose 4-0. So really, Bars is sort of the player that is struggling a bit with consistency. If he plays his best, I feel like he's going to make it very competitive against Hearttt.
Yeah. I will eventually make a... Hold on a second. Hearttt just came to my Twitch chat and said, lost the hair I had left on my head during these games. Sorry, Hearttt.